Hello, and today I'm going to talk about The Walking Dead and what happened to Cyndie in the show, because she was the main character in the Oceanside group. She was the leader of Oceanside. However, she just ups and vanishes halfway through season 10, and we don't even see her again in the final season. Her last appearance is in episode 8 of season 10. And it's very weird for the leader of Oceanside to just disappear. And the next time Oceanside is a factor in the story, Rachel takes Cyndie's role as the leader. So what happened to Cyndie? We actually have some answers. However, it is a case with season 11. A lot of characters just up and vanish. It's really annoying because it's happened to Virgil. Luke was MIA for a lot of season 11. And it looks like Cyndie was also MIA. It's a case that there was some pretty bad scheduling conflicts in the final season, and that they just couldn't get the actor back for Cyndie. And that's the real world issue. Why Cyndie never returned to The Walking Dead, and why she just vanishes halfway through the 10th season and never returns. However, we actually do have an in-world reason why Cyndie is gone through the back half of season 10 and gone for the entirety of the Reaper and Commonwealth arc. And this information was given to us by Angela Kang when she was asked what happened to Oceanside at the ending of season 11. And she says, "They are not all confirmed dead. We originally wrote a scene in Oceanside for the finale, but we were forced to cut it before we filmed it due to unexpected circumstances that came up out of our control. Unfortunately, happens in production sometimes. Separately, sometimes we aren't able to go back to characters we wanted to go back to because the actors weren't available. Oceanside was a port community, and characters who lived there often took long fishing trips and sailing expeditions to explore and scavenge. That is what I personally think Cyndie was doing at the time of the Commonwealth attack. Rachel was there leading the fight." And that's probably as close to confirming what happened to Cyndie as we're going to get. The showrunner at the time just straight up was like, okay, Cyndie's alive, but she just went on a mission, and that's why she wasn't there in season 11. And it makes sense, because we did see in season 10, Oceanside does do that. We saw that Carol went on one between season 9 and season 10 for months at a time. So it is 100% believable Cyndie would do the same. Maybe that with the war going on, they're like, okay, we're going to need some food. Things not looking good. Maybe she left maybe near the end of the war or right after the war, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go off and get some food with a small group of people. It makes a lot of sense. So Cyndie was out there fishing for months and months upon end and missing out on, depending on when she left. I'm imagining she left right at the end of the Whisper War. She missed out on the Reapers. She missed out on the 6 months later and the Commonwealth. And imagine her coming back and finding Oceanside just absolutely slaughtered. We know Oceanside is still around, so maybe when she came back she helped rebuild Oceanside. And we know Rachel was there and did try and lead the charge against the Commonwealth. However, probably most of them died, and then Cyndie came back with maybe her boats, and that's how Oceanside rebuilt, just because of they just had a lot of people just chilling out in the seas. And it's good that we actually got an answer for Cyndie. She was just out fishing for months. But it's a shame we never got it in show, and it's up to the showrunners to be telling us afterwards. This was the case for many things with characters going missing. We had this with Heath, and they had to be like, oh yes, he's dead. We've had this with Luke, but we never got to Virgil. Virgil's the only character really, or the only bigger character, who has never been addressed after what happened to him. And this is it for me today, so thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.